Hey, look, players fuck up. Y'all gotta let me make it. All right. What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? I hope everybody is having a fabulous Friday, but not a fab. You know, we're talking about if you're in the DN crew, you know what I'm talking about. Not a fab Friday, but a fabulous Friday. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's having a good evening. Hope everything is going well for you. Everything that you wish for in life is coming to fruition for you. Well, welcome to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports, Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. It means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. With that being said, man, we're gonna talk mainly Texas tonight. We're gonna talk a little bit about the other professional team that's currently playing, just slightly, but we're mainly gonna talk Texas tonight. We're gonna talk about barely. That's what I'm saying. I know I'm having some issues here. All right, y'all let me know in the chat how it's sounding, and let me see what's shaking over here because that's what I'm trying to figure out why. How about now? Is that any better for you? Or it's still you're still catching a little lack of audio. How about now? Let me know if that sounds better for you. Still ain't got nothing coming through there. All right, give me one second, folks. Like I said, I've been trying to tinker with these dilly dallies, and all right, hold on. Look, yeah, read all those things all at one time. You know, Texas sauceline, stay saucy, all that. Honcho, and that's not Hector. That is Tenny, and I didn't change that. So all y'all can be like, damn, Hector looks different tonight. So I apologize for that. Yeah, just like I said, I've been trying to figure out these audio issues. I know it's been having some static and some shit going on. Just trying to get those resolved. Trying to get those figured out. I was tinkering with it before the stream. But like I said, tonight we're going to talk about. Let's talk about a bunch. Well, let's start this from the beginning. Welcome to Sauce Sports. You're not familiar with Sauce Sports, Houston, Texas, Homer Channel. If you're not familiar with that, that means we're talking all sports, only Houston. With that being said, we're going to dive into some Texas talk tonight. We're going to talk about are the Texans contenders, and then we may get a little bit of Rockets talk in at the end because it's not only Texans, it's all Houston sports. But here's the deal. Is the audio going back out for you? I got to figure out what's going on there. All right, hold on.
I got you again now. For some reason, like as soon as you start into the intro, it just cuts you right off.
How about now? Are you still hear me, or am I cutting out?
Oh yeah, I still got you.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool. There we go. All right. I think we got it figured out now. You can't be doing too much shit. All right. Cool. Appreciate that. Sorry for y'all having me to deal with the little technicalities, you know. But we gonna get it. We gonna get it right. Keep it right. But again, like I say, all sports only Houston. We're gonna talk Texas. We're gonna talk a little bit of Rocks later on at the end, and then we're gonna get into it. But let's get into it because I know y'all been waiting. I want to talk about tonight, man. Are the Texans? Are they really contenders, man? You know, or are they contenders? Or are they pretenders? And we have to. We got to kind of just dive into that, you know, looking at what's going on around the league and the opportunities that are presented to the Texans. And I know that we talked last time about, you know, going in and going back out again. So I'm trying to see what we got going.
No, you good. You good.
Okay.
Yeah. I just had I had like some interference coming in. Had to coordinate things on my side.
Okay, I understand completely. So I'll just double check. But so like I said, man, we're gonna talk about if the Texans are contenders or they pretenders. You know, I know last weekend, you know, after the loss, there was a lot of different opinions about it, and I can understand, you know, because when you go and you look at what Pittsburgh did last night, you start to question, well, hey, is that a situation that the Texans want to get into? Is that a situation that the Texans can hang with? And so I think there's a lot of things that we have to cover and a lot of things that we have to address, and we're gonna have to look at that. So starting out, I mean, when you're looking at what is it, the Big Four right now? Who do they call them the Big Four right now? I want to say it's Kansas City, the Patriots, who was the Rams, and the Saints is what I'm thinking. I think that's who they're calling the Big Four right now in the league as far as the contenders. I'm trying to make sure if I'm overlooking anybody. But for the most part, those are the teams that have been relatively dominant all year. And speaking of the Saints, man, how fucking unfortunate is that with Dez, man? He fucking comes in and, I mean, immediately fucking gets an injury. Gets there a couple of days, got about 600,000, and then he's out of there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
This is a blow to all of us, and you don't even have to be a fan of Dez or anything else. As long as you're a football fan, that's a blow right there because that was going to be some interesting football to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Dez and Breeze, that would have been a nice one to see. So real unfortunate, man. Real unfortunate, and you know. Then I think they're talking about now they're going to go be looking at Brandon Marshall, so that's be interesting. They're going to sign him, so okay, cool. That'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Another guy that you call passionate, and you know he's still a quality talent, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But let's talk about the Texans, man. The Texans made their own move of their own, you know, by going to get Demarius, and I feel like a couple of things because you look at these higher scoring teams, you look at these teams who were able to put the numbers out consistently, and I felt like the Texans were on that trajectory up until the Denver situation. Now, me, in my personal opinion, I think the big part of that kind of falling off because I think there was that comfort level was Will Fuller getting hurt because Will Fuller was essential to how teams played DeAndre Hopkins, and he's going to eat regardless. But, you know, and then that deep threat element that he brought, not only just his deep threat abilities, you know, he started to become more of a possession guy too. He became more of a complete receiver. Will Fuller showed a lot of growth this year. And so I think that's why that kind of hurt overall because he can hurt you in so many ways. Another issue is, you know, the young guy that we saw that he can be flashy, he can be something, but his health ultimately, hey, if you're not on the field, then, you know, what are you really worth? And that's Kiki not being available. Now, my personal opinion is why I felt like last game was just not as offensively successful as it was. I felt like Demarius, of course, yes, he's a talent, but you still got to learn the playbook to be a part of this thing. And then you have a situation where did a lot of running, and I can understand, you know, everybody getting upset about Bill continuing to run that ball on first down. But I look at it as a long-term situation is when we weren't running as much, you know, there was a lot of Deshaun getting annihilated. And I feel like that's a situation where he's trying to protect Deshaun in the long-term interest. But, again, you know, right here, right now, it's not looking so pretty. You kind of wonder why are you doing the same thing if it's not working. So I can understand all perspectives. I can understand how, you know, everybody sees all of these things. But, again, the only quality wins I would say that we've had this year, one against Jacksonville and the other being against Miami. And you're looking at some of these other teams, again, like with a team like New Orleans who went in there and beat the Rams, and, you know, that's what everybody had as the Super Bowl pick. We don't have a quality win like that on our record. But then at the same time, do we even play a team that you would call that caliber on our schedule outside of the Patriots, you know, in the beginning? I mean, we don't have an opportunity to really see how we stack up against a team like that. So, you know, I think that's just some of the things we have to look at, and it's going to be kind of sketchy to see. But what are your thoughts on the current situation of the Texans, Tenny, man? How do you feel? Do you feel like, even though we can make the playoffs, that we could contend, we could upset some folks, or do you feel like let's just enjoy the regular season while it lasts because it could get ugly when it comes time for the postseason?
I'm more on the cautious side. We're not a good team, and I know this hurts a lot of people's feelings. We're just not a good team. We don't hit on every cylinder every single time. And part of the problem, too, is mismanagement of their team. Part of it is, like a lot of people say, execution on our side or the player side. And then just flat out, we didn't make the right moves that we needed to have a more secure line coming into this season. And looking around this league, like seriously, like even outside of the big four, what you were talking about, no, you're not a football fan if you look across the field and say this is who we may have to play. I'm okay with playing the Ravens. It would be a fun game to watch. That's a game we could win, definitely. But fucking Los Angeles Chargers, I don't want to play those guys. Like seriously, their wide receiving core is easily one of the best in the league right now, and it was quietly put together. Like Keenan Allen, fucking Mike Williams, and fucking they even got Antonio Gates back over there. I know they released him because they had that one young tight end, but he went on injury reserve during the offseason, and now fucking you got him back on the team, and you just look at this passing attack they got. That's who we would have to play. Like, I don't understand how some people can sit here and say that they're football fans and not understand the playoff structure. It goes by division. We would be what right now, third seed because of our record. So we would be playing the best wild card team. So that would be the San Diego Chargers. It wouldn't be the Ravens because I think the Ravens are still in it and the Bengals. I mean, those two teams I'm not afraid of playing, but outside of that, I don't want to see the Chargers game one wild card because it's not going to go good for us.
And I could definitely see that. Now, here's something I was looking at, and I was kind of thinking about. Do the Texans possess the ability to make some of these, what you would call upper echelon, top tier teams? Do the Texans possess the ability to make these teams play their style of football? Because I'm looking at it, and I know what we wanted this year was the Texans to come in, and we wanted to see that high flying offense. We want to see the 5 touchdowns a game. Again, the line is obviously worse than it is last year. We talked about, Chris Clark. Who's that? He's with somebody said he's with the Panthers now, I believe, and that he was doing pretty well with them. And again, I think that nobody accounted for Henderson dropping off early. That was such a big fluke because I think that he would have been a solid O-line guy. I mean, he'd have been a solid piece for this team. Just a lot of things that happen. But I'm looking at the way they're getting some of these wins. I'm looking at the way that, and they're not the prettiest wins, but you're wondering, do the Texans have the ability to make teams have to play a different style of football to kind of make them play to their level? Or do they have a way of controlling the game to make teams play to their level? How do you feel about that?
Oh, man, talent-wise, yes. I mean, look at some of these squads. I mean, you can't name 5 players better than what we have on the defensive side compared to their defenses. I mean, talk about the Saints defense. Compare 5 of their best players on defense to 5 of our best players. I mean, you really can't. I mean, they have a good scheme that showed up last year that really helped turn them around. What was it? They had really bad defensive ball last year, but then they turned it around last year. And even though now they struggle with it, but it's mainly due to the fact that Drew Brees has taken over that team again and really put them on another level. I mean, look at the Kansas City Chiefs. Who on the Kansas City Chiefs is better than Tyrann Mathieu at safety position? Who on the Kansas City Chiefs is better than J.J. Watt, Whitney Merciless, and Jadeveon Clowney? I will give you time to Google. You can text that answer later. Like, seriously, who else is out there right now? The Rams. The Rams are like one of the teams where you could sit here as a casual fan of football and name players that would probably outnumber ours as far as talent, but the difference is ours is homegrown talent. They went out and bought theirs. So, I mean, it's very capable for this Houston Texans team to make good teams play the game that they want them to play, and especially talking about the fact that I'll put my name on it right now. I think Demaryius Thomas is going to have a resurgent career here in Houston. It is going to be a glorious time having him here while we got him, and having DeAndre Hopkins at the same fucking level he's been playing at for years. Hands down better than Antonio Brown, hands down better than Odell to me. This is my opinion. You can kick rocks if you don't like it. Fucking DeAndre Hopkins is the best by far. And then you look at some of the quarterbacks out there. Who else has a Deshaun Watson? Who else has this dude who's playing through broken ribs and bruised lungs and taking these hits, but yet still has this winner mentality to go out there and battle and fight it out like a dog? I think at the beginning of the year, Ed, you were very correct to say that we don't have dogs in the yard. But real quick, our pups turned into full grown ass dogs, and they are ready to fucking prowl the yard. And I mean, it's all about use. If these guys get used right, we're definitely that unseen factor in the playoffs. We do what fucking was it Seattle did that one year. They went like 6-10 into the playoffs and knocked off fucking Atlanta or somebody. It was fucking stupid. But I mean, we're definitely a capable team. We have the talent. It's just about how we get used.
And so with speaking of Demaryius Thomas, that man, that was a very good point. I will have to agree with you too, because that was definitely a point that I was very adamant about early in the years, that we don't have dogs. But it seems like some things have changed a little bit. I think the addition of Honey Badger, I think, we've seen in Clown, he started to kind of resurge. Well, he's been resurging for the last few weeks, but he started off slow. But then like I say, everybody kind of started off slow. But I think as this chemistry started coming together with some of the new pieces that were there, you started to see some of these guys who normally didn't say too much, normally didn't do too much, seem pretty soft about their way. And man, including the rookie, man, Justin Reed, man, he's been a marvelous addition, man. I mean, shit. I mean, I don't think anybody expected him to come in and play, and it kills me because they don't even have him considered as one of the top 10 rookies right now that comes in. And that's what I tell you. That shows you who's paying attention to what's going on in the city of Houston right now. The national media does not watch, but people who they swear up and down by PFF. But then when you see what these other people say and they don't look at it, and they, there's all this contradiction. I'm telling you, it's a lot of bias. It's a lot of hate in the media when it comes to the city. Y'all may think I'm just saying that because, we're Houstonians, we're from the Houston area and things like that, but that's not the case. It's deliberate. I mean, it's almost obvious when you look at a lot of this shit. But, Justin Reed's been a great addition. He's been a hard hitter, great tackler. I mean, making plays, especially on that defensive side of the ball. And then, like you said, with Watson's been showing the toughness. And I think that when other players see what, your quarterback is your leader, regardless of how you feel. When Schaub was here, we knew the culture of this team. It was really Kubiak because he was just playing vicariously through Schaub because Schaub wasn't allowed to think for himself, and I'm glad he didn't. But you kind of felt the mentality of this team. Now with Deshaun here, it's a little bit. It's starting to, the culture's starting to form around him. It's a little bit of pep in the step. It's a little bit of a little bit of swag. And I hate the word swag, but that's what all you youngsters are using now. But you see the way that this team is adjusted, and and I can't believe I didn't even mention the Kareem Jackson this year and how he's came out. And man, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I had an interview, and I want to shout out. It might have been Texas T or somebody shouted to me the other day and told me about it. And then I ended up going and watching it. About the interview that he did on the Rich Eisen show. And so I don't know if you guys have had a chance, even if in the chat you haven't seen. Man, it killed me because Kareem's been here, about 9 years? And I've never really had an in-depth look at him because people don't really give a fuck about you until you ball. And that's just the truth. You know what I mean? And now, people all around, well, they've never talked about Kareem Jackson in national media. He was never that guy. Now, contract year, balling out of control, everybody loves you. So they see what the Texans are doing. So I had him on the Rich Eisen show, and he just kind of talked about his whole situation, how he ended up at Alabama and all that shit. Some real good insight into Kareem, and kind of gives you an understanding of his character and what he's kind of been through, and gives you an appreciation for the dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this, the foundations that he has and all that other stuff. Like I say, that interview definitely opened up my eyes, Kareem. So if you hadn't had a chance to catch that, man, check that out, because I think everybody should watch it. If you're a Texans fan and you've ever felt any kind of way about Kareem Jackson, I think that if you don't feel better about him now, I think that'll change your opinion on him.
Absolutely, man. That's you. Everybody needs to co-sign on that video, because that interview, his whole week. I think it was all with one day. He did 3 interviews because it was all the same suit. And I know Kareem, he don't wear the same suit more than once. Yeah. And I mean, his interview with Rich Eisen set the tone for the rest of that day in the interviews. Y'all should go check it out. I think he did one with Colin. Mm-hmm. I think he did one with NFL Network. But Rich Eisen kicked it all off.
And that's what I say, man. That shit there was it just brought a whole new light to the way I looked at Kareem Jackson. So yeah, and I definitely. And here's the thing: Rich Eisen spoken into his existence because he called him a Pro Bowler. He said Pro Bowler, but Kareem's yet to have made a Pro Bowl. And I said, hey, trust me, that's coming to fruition this year. You know what I'm saying? And he even admitted, he ain't lying wise. He even admitted his first year. He was like, I wasn't good. I've had bad years. And the honesty that he displayed in that interview, because the guy, a lot of guys, they'll be overly cocky and try, find some way to point a finger. He took full responsibility because, if you look at Kareem's first year, what veteran corner did we have to bring Kareem into the fold to teach him, hey, that was actually quality? Nothing. So he's basically coming in, kind of learning the game on his own. The coaching wasn't stellar at the secondary position at that point. I think there was a lot that people don't account for, just expect because you're a first rounder, you're instantly supposed to be, immediately start flashing in the pan. But it's about the system you're put into. It's about the coaching staff that you have. It's about, the level of freedom that you're given to do certain things. So I think that you got to go back and kind of look at everything that went into that. But shout out to Kareem Jackson on that one. But like we were talking about the dogs, man. And I think that as the year is progressing, I want to give a lot of that credit to Matthew, because you see that he's the guy that's doing the speech. It's funny, because it used to be JJ, and then now you see Matthew come here and instantly take over that dude, and that's a good sign to me as far as long term with Matthew staying here, and I'm loving that. And the way that, again, the team has gravitated around Matthew, the way the team has gravitated around Deshaun, and I can't think of two better personalities to be, representing this team, unless you want to go back to, Andre. And I ain't going to say Andre, because Andre was a great player, but he wasn't necessarily a leader, because Andre just never said anything, because even when he did that Foster interview, he's like, it's the most I never heard this man say ever, And so that was the thing about him,
Fucking Andre, man, you know what? Andre led like this. When something bad happened, he'd put his helmet on quietly and go out there and change the game. Mm-hmm. He never did. He wasn't the rah-rah guy like Tyrod.
That's what I'm saying. So my thing is this, though, man. But looking at that culture, and again, it's some things that's going to take time to mesh. And I just kind of want to know your thoughts, Ted. Just looking at what we have right now, and if the Texans kind of keep the course, which they should, I don't see why not. And I don't like getting too far ahead. The Redskins have taken some significant injuries on that line. And I think they lost a receiver, too, that have all gone to IR. The Texans are going to be coming off that bye week and pretty healthy. And if I'm not mistaken, O'Brien has a decent record coming off the bye week. I got to go back and see exactly what it is, but I want to say it's a winning record. And I know the Redskins and the Eagles have been the two teams that everybody's been talking about, as far as the rest of this season that could give us problems. If we go in and have a victory, I'm not going to say how solid or how handy or whatever it is. I expect it to be better than it was last time, because Demaris has a week and some change to get acclimated to the playbook. So I think that's going to be a big factor. Man, what do you see the end of the tunnel being for the Texan team?
The end of the tunnel, man, we got to come out in this game, and it has to be a statement game. I know we're not – most people would say, you just won 6 games in a row. What do you mean you need a statement game? We need a statement game to finish out the rest of this season. They need to come out here and they need to kick the fucking teeth out of fucking Redskins. They need to put their fucking heads through their assholes. Like, seriously, we have to dominate the shit out of that team coming out of this bye week to set the tone for the rest of the season. So that way the Titans know what they got to face when they come back down here. The Jags know what's in store for their asses, even though they get fucking Fournette back. Yeah. Fucking the Colts don't even think about it. There's no resurgence for you. You keep your asses in place. Fucking. And as far as the Jets and Browns, you keep in mind that you're still a long cry from ever being close to us.
Yeah.
And the Eagles is another thing. They got to get back to their glory. So put them on notice. We're not the fucking pushover team that we were weeks 1 through 3. We absolutely have to come out here and show it. I don't want to fucking sit here and toot the horn. 13-3 is a possibility. Anything's a possibility as long as you fucking try for it.
Yeah.
But definitely, as long as we're fighting to the end, as long as we're not putting the game into the other fucking team's hands to either win it for us or lose it for us, as long as we do that and we set the tone right, this should be a glorious second half of this season.
Okay. My thing is this too, man, and I would definitely have to agree with you on that one, because it's just the possibilities are there. But let's be realistic. 13 straight games is a difficult task. Would it be wonderful if it happens? Absolutely. So I'm not going to stake my hopes on that. I know a lot of people are saying that. I'm going to stick by my original prediction. I'll allow for, a couple of losses. Things happen. Anything can fucking happen. You got to account for, knock on wood, injuries and all that other stuff. But I feel coming back into this game, getting a bunch of guys back that we sorely needed, and I think you got you got J. Joe coming back, which is that veteran leadership. You got Colvin, I believe, to be coming back, and he was never put on IR, so that's interesting because you'll still have that situation working for you. We'll see what happens with Foreman. And my thing, if Foreman does return, I think it'll be kind of a good situation because it'll let him get acclimated, and then we'll have a set of fresh legs come towards the end of the season, being able to contribute. And I think that's something a lot of teams wouldn't have planned for and don't have a lot of game tape on it, so they're not accounting for what he could possibly bring. Now, that's hoping that he gets back to form. It's going to take a little bit. So when he does come back, 'cause I know everybody's been talking about Foreman, don't expect him to instantly bust open a 150-yard game or something. So he's going to take time. Just how we started slow in the beginning of the season as a team, he's going to start slow in his own path, and then he's going to get there.
Yeah, what I would say is expect third and short to become a distant memory as an issue for this team. Because when he comes back and they can put him in those short yardage situations, expect Deontay Foreman to thrive in those because he is going to run behind his pads more so than what Blue does, and especially more so than what Miller does.
Absolutely. Now, I see in the chat they're talking about apparently something on ESPN saying that the Texans are expected in 2019 to sign Le'Veon Bell. I personally don't know how I feel about that because I think it's a different situation. But what are your thoughts? How would you feel if the Texans did go out and make that move?
If they went out and made that move, it justifies everything that we've talked about. Having a GM that's willing to make those moves, willing to bite the bullet and go after a player that's a little bit troubled. Let's be honest, Le'Veon Bell is not the squeaky clean boy that fucking Bob McNair brings in, but crusty ass Tales from the Crypt ass motherfucker is hiding somewhere, and I'm glad he's hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'd rather have his son sitting up in the box than his nasty ass anytime. So, if Gaines really goes out and makes a move like that, ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly guarantee. Last year I said it. The years prior, I think next year is a definite, and I can almost say it to the T. And we are going to make a run at that Super Bowl, and I believe it wholeheartedly, especially after watching Watson last year and the way we turned around the 0-3. We haven't overcame it yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I saw that shit on Facebook. Fucking the Texans overcame 0-3. We haven't overcame it yet, but we turned it around. Turning it around is one thing, but overcoming it's another. If we can really overcome it and finish this season out with a winning record of double-digit wins, and we go out and make a move like that to get Le'Veon Bell, who is an absolute talent. Let's not forget what he did over in fucking Pittsburgh. Don't let James Conner and all this shit that he's doing right now fool you and think that that's that O-line up there. Le'Veon Bell is a talent. Le'Veon Bell plays hard, and he would be an absolute wonder to have on this team, especially a three-down back that we could trust.
Okay. So if Le'Veon becomes a Houston Texan, do you buy his rap album?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to listen to it first. Like even the mumble rappers today, I listen to them and try. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I grew up in the 90s, so I'm semi hip hop head. So like you got to be fucking lyrically good for me. If you're not lyrically good, I don't bang you at all. No.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know. Like I said, I haven't heard it myself. I'm not going to be in any kind of rush to it. I may look like if it happens, then in retrospect, I'll go back and I'll check it out. We'll see what's up with it. So, but again, I think that does prove a point, like you were saying, that if this GM is willing to kind of change the culture of what's happening, if he's willing to go out and get a guy that doesn't have the cleanest record, has had some issues, but they're showing that the Texans are willing to win and win right now. I think that's interesting, and I think that it kind of starts with that DT move. But again, DT's a good guy, and so not to just say put him in that category, but the fact that they went out and pursued a talent that they were looking for, they want to keep what they have going. In years prior, I don't think we saw these kind of moves being made. We just kind of said, well, we'll see what we can do with what we got. And I feel like if that move was made, it does show a new level of aggressiveness, and it's a new. I would then say, because we talked about a lot about has this culture change under the Gain, and at this point, I don't think you quite can say you've seen some different things happen, but I won't say it's a complete change. But if they go out in this offseason and we can retain the services of the Badger and Jackson and Clowney, and then go acquire a guy like Bell, I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be, and then you got to think about, Demarius having that $14 million contract next year. I think there's going to be a lot of financial gymnastics that have to be done, because I think there's a lot of areas that, outside of that also need to be improved. But, we'll see what happens with the linemen. I remember in the chat earlier, we were talking about, Henderson and possibly re-signing him. I wouldn't be opposed to that either, because I think Henderson just had a fluke situation. I thought that he would have been a solid lineman this year.
Absolutely, man. Like, when I say re-sign Henderson, I know a lot of people are like, oh, whoa, let's not waste the position on this guy. I think Henderson would be a great camp body, because if he can earn a spot, then he's definitely earning a spot on this team. But we, as of right now, I don't think we should ever stop looking until we have a for sure right tackle and for sure left tackle. I know Davenport and Lamb have definitely stepped up beyond what we thought they were going to be able to do. Davenport struggles against the bull rush, but that's to be expected. I mean, you saw it in preseason. He just got pushed everywhere whenever somebody got up in his chest. But whenever those guys don't try that shit with him, and he actually gets that first step going on him, he's hard to beat. So, left tackle, right tackle, we're not sold at that position. Let's not settle for it. But sure enough, let's give the guys who can definitely play a chance at the camp. The fucking training camp ain't gonna hurt nobody. Preseason ain't gonna hurt nobody, especially with all the time that you get to evaluate people now.
And speaking of preseason, man, do you feel like we need to two things I will personally have? One, stay away from that goddamn Greenbrier. But two, man, do you think that the Texans need to say, hey, kind of fuck all that throwing caution? They need to throw caution to the wind and actually get out there and play during the preseason.
I will entertain it a little bit. Yeah, I think definitely each and every game, or at least the first 3 games, have the starters out there for at least a quarter or half the quarter in the first 2, and then in the third game have them out there for at least 2 to 3 quarters. Something to get their juices flowing, something to get them pushing forward. At least picking apart what the live action tells them as compared to what they do in practice.
Yeah. And then again, going against somebody who really doesn't give a fuck about your well-being because they're not playing on your team, I think that gives a different look. Because I think when you go on team versus team, guys are going to go hard, but at the same time, they're going to ease up on you because they know you're trying to make a team. They know that you're a part of their team, so they're not trying to, they're not trying to undermine you and ruin you like a guy from another program would. Y'all talk about me. If Kendall Lamb went all pro, I'd commit a random act of violence naked on business. Look, he'll be good. He won't be all pro, so I ain't worried about all that. Y'all talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? There's still a guy that was twerking in the bathroom, so he got a lot to prove before I.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of – it takes a lot for fucking Kendall Lamb to get to a fucking all-pro game. I mean, you would have, probably the 2 best tackles at that position going to the Super Bowl, and I don't know how the fuck that would happen on the AFC side. Then you got to take into account that everybody else either just says no and declines the invitation.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. Look, Bissonnette is safe. Well, no, it's not, but it's safe for me for now. So my thing, man, is, it's like we're kind of in limbo is honestly how I feel. I feel like, you see the wins and they're piling up, and it's good. I'm happy for every win we can accumulate because that just puts us in a better position. At least you're still a part of something. Because, I look back to last year right now, we're not having this conversation. We're just, man, I can't wait till Deshaun comes back. I can't wait till, Clowney comes back. I mean, not Clowney, till Watt comes back. Can't wait till Merciless comes back. We're just talking about injuries at this point and how bad the last loss was. I do feel like there's still some room for growth. I do feel like, there's a little bit of chemistry that needs to be worked on. But ultimately, this team is, and you mentioned it earlier, this team has the talent. And somebody else in the chat said the same thing. This team has the talent to bang with anybody. But it's about putting everything else on point, getting everything else on point for them to be able to do that. And that comes down from coaching. Not being stubborn, willing to take some risks. That comes down to execution, and that execution starts with the protection of your quarterback first and foremost, and then second, avoiding the stupid ass penalties, because when those things have dropped down, when those penalties have declined, we've seen the gameplay improve significantly. Now we talked about this the other day too. Now in recent weeks, BOB has kind of declined the number of passing attempts. I'm going to say the first 4 or 5 games, Watson was averaging almost 40 passes a game. Now these last few games, these last 3 or 4 games, it's been about 25, and that's when the last 3 has been when the turnovers have dissipated. They've disappeared. Do you think that's the right move by Bill O'Brien to kind of, because I think a lot of that came from the pressures that were being put on them, the inability of that line to protect them, and I think that's kind of why they look better too, because they're not in pass pro as much. How do you feel? I mean, what do you feel about that whole situation, the adjustment made by Bill O'Brien in that situation?
I think that in that aspect of looking at it through the passing versus running game, it's really good. But at the same time, the runs on first down, I think to what you had touched on earlier, but lowering the pass attempts is a good thing, because you go into the game with that game plan to have lower passing and lowering passer attempts. So Deshaun Watson already knows that whatever he gets, he's going to have to make better use of it. But at the same time, he's going to have to sit here and really try to figure out a way to get this running game going in a different direction than just up the middle. He has to learn to go left. He has to learn to go right. He's got to figure that shit out, because it's one thing to want to establish the run and stick with the run, but it's another thing when it's constantly failing the way it was in the Denver game. Yeah. You got to find a way to liven it up. Yeah. I mean, even if it's getting fucking Lamar Miller and Alfred Blue more involved in the pass game, I mean, throw them some screens. I mean, I still consider those half-ass runs, because at the end of the day, they got to wait, or the line has to wait at the line of scrimmage, and then they can move. So, I mean, it still does the same thing that a run does. It's just a short pass that is meant to gain yards and shit like that.
Okay. And so, kind of looking into next week, because like I said, bye week is boring as fuck. It leads to a bunch of hoping and speculation and waiting, and it's like a mini ass off season. It's just it's terrible, so fucking terrible. But with the guys coming back, who's going to be the biggest piece that should be healthy for us next week? Who's going to have the biggest impact, in next week's game against the Redskins that should be coming back for us?
I haven't looked at everybody that should be back. Did they say anything about Cole, if he was going to be able to be back?
I'm not sure on the Cole situation. I haven't really heard a lot about Cole.
Because I would say Cole is like the biggest one I'm looking forward to. I know he's had 2 rough years back-to-back with injury, and I don't want to hear the injury-prone conversation, but when he's out on that fucking field, he's like Will Fuller. He contributes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess we could say the biggest contribution to see come back to the field would have to be J-Joe, because J-Joe, before he went down, I mean, he was playing at a high level himself. So, I mean, there is no doubt that him coming back and then this newfound glory that Kareem Jackson has, to where you can move him to safety or even stunt him at safety, like make him look like he's lining up at safety and then move him into a cornerback position before the ball snapped. It's just doing wonders that no offense is really catching up to, especially offenses like, was it Washington? They don't really have a star wide receiver, so that's not a scary thing to go up against them. They're a bunch of bums out there.
Yeah. I see y'all. Kenneth, man, I see you over there getting mad talking about stopping to cut Lamar Miller. When you one of them motherfuckers trying to cut Lamar early in the season? I know there was a clan of folks who was wanting to get rid of Lamar early. But see, I'm talking about, say, do you think the Texans should cut Miller and Kevin Johnson, clear up some space to make room for Bell? Here's my deal, and I'll continue to say this. Lamar Miller is a serviceable running back. It's just the situation he gets put in, just like you were talking about with the Denver situation. Because the first run of the game was like a 12, 15-yard run. I mean, it was a solid run coming out the gate. And then I think Blue backdoor with a solid run. And I think that's kind of what – I don't know if that's what Bill O'Brien thought was going to continue to happen here and there throughout the game, but that did not happen. It's about him just, getting the proper blocking. Lamar Miller's not bad. He just has to be used right. Like I say, trying to run him up the middle like Tenny was talking about, that's a no-go. He has, ever since he's been a Texan, that has been the most unsuccessful play for him. It's not ideal. You got to get him outside to the edges because that's where he thrives. That's where he excels. He's above the league average, and when he's getting to the edge, he's a guy that you got to put outside. But for some reason, we don't do that. For some reason, like you said, not utilizing him in the passing game. I think Lamar Miller can give you, I won't say he'll give you every bit of Le'Veon Bell, but for the price and for what you're trying to do, if he was properly utilized, he could do that. But then what makes you think that, Le'Veon comes here and Bill O'Brien don't use him the same way? So that's something you kind of have to question, because is he going to realize, okay, well, this guy has a specific set of skills that he can use and capitalize on? Because Lamar Miller has those skills. Lamar Miller has solid hands. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, because he doesn't get used in that fashion, that he does have capable hands. And so I don't know about cutting Miller.
Yeah, neither do I, man. Like, think about it. If you got a chance to sign Le'Veon Bell, keep Lamar Miller, and have Deontay Foreman on this team, why would you not run that stable? That is a solid-ass stable. I mean, of course, we all know Bell is the show pony, but you got your workhorse in Foreman, and then you got Lamar Miller, who is your Mustang, the one that can get out there and speed it off. And, I mean, that would just be stupid to cut him to save $6 million out of everything. Hey, you're saving $6 million. I don't have $6 million in my bank account, and I'm talking like that shit is chump change. But at the end of the day, with the NFL, $6 million is chump change for a player of his quality for 1 year. I mean, it's basically letting him play out his contract.
Yeah, exactly. Now my thing is, now Johnson, and y'all know I've been trying my damnedest to try to defend Johnson. He is still the GOAT. I don't care what anybody says. He's the concussion GOAT. I'm not upset if Johnson gets cut. But see, the Texans' luck is Johnson gets cut, goes somewhere else, and balls the fuck out. That's Texans' luck for you. That's what would happen. Somebody fucking goes, picks up Johnson, and this motherfucker just starts balling. Because I just don't understand. Like, honestly, it's been more so injury than everything. Just the motherfucker, he just might be too light to fight. I'm gonna be honest with you, because we've seen. Because I want to think, was it the Rams game last year that he came back and actually had a solid game? He was out there hitting. And then you just see him fall all the way off. You see, I want to say, was it the rookie or not the rookie? It might have been the second year that he looked decent. But then it's the injuries, man, and that's what and then when he's trying to come back from those injuries, not having that healthy offseason, I almost feel like it's more mental than anything with that dude. And then after the baby diaper costume, I'm going to be honest with you, my support kind of guy went out the window. I'm just sitting here seeing what happens. I've tried to be a definitive K-Joe. I've tried to, try to ride with that team. I mean,
he's the kind of dude that rolls up to you while you at the gas station. You got your Texans hat on. He's like, "What's up, young blood?" I used to play for the Texans back in the day. It was back in the cut. I used to be a cornerback for him. But Ma, I got you here. Can I get $5 for gas?
That motherfucker there, man. And it's just it's bad business, man. So I don't know, man. I don't really know. I can't really honestly defend him anymore as much as I want to. It's really not because of the gameplay. It's because of the baby costume, and that's sad that I had to use a Halloween costume for me to get off the train. Yeah. So my thing is, you say, what y'all talking about? Yeah, I mean, Lamar can be just as productive because, I mean, it comes to blocking, it comes to how he's utilized, and for some reason, I'm not sure why, and this is one big gripe I do have with Bill O'Brien. This is one thing I've always said, that Lamar is not a guy that you can run up the middle, and I know you're hoping for something to happen. It's just not going to take place. So my thing is this, though. My thing is this. I know all the hopes are this and that and then the third. Is this the year that the Texans can get out of can make it to the AFC Championship? Not saying that they win it, not saying that they go to the Super Bowl. If things fall in line, what scenario would it take for that to happen? But do you honestly see that being a possibility?
It's anything's a possibility. Let's not forget Tim Tebow won a fucking playoff game. Let's not forget about some of the wildest ass shit that's happened. Let's not forget about fucking Blake Bortles making it to the fucking AFC Championship game. Let's not forget about fucking Mariota coming back on the fucking Chiefs to win that fucking game last year. So, I mean, anything is very, very possible. So, I mean, for us to really make it in there, I would love to see either the Bengals or the Ravens fucking in a wild card game. Then I would really like to see, if I had a choice, and I know it sounds audacious of me, and I really think it's a capability. It's a slight capability in y'all's minds, but in my mind, I think if we got the running game going, we could probably fucking do it. I would like to see the Chiefs. I would like to see the defense absolutely murder fucking, was it Kareem Hunt over there?
Yeah.
Fucking, we've done it before. We have shut down both Hill and Kareem Hunt. I mean, we have nullified their abilities and their effects on us. So, and then the fact of the matter is that they just ain't got no fucking defense. So, DeAndre Hopkins would have a field day. Demaryius Thomas would have a field day. If we could get Lamar Miller going, we would control the clock and dominate them, because the Chiefs have one speed. It's 0 to touchdown. And if they can't keep that up, and if they can't get on the field long enough, they won't. That shit won't matter. I would love to see them and possibly play the Patriots in the fucking AFC Championship, because we all know damn well ain't nobody taking out the Patriots, especially the way they fucking turned their shit away around from what they started off on.
Yeah, but wouldn't it just be lovely for that to be the team that we beat in the AFC Championship whenever we do get there? Because all the shit that the Patriots have given us but it has to be Brady. It would have to be against Brady. Like, and that's why the Texans have to figure out a way to get it done and get it done soon. Because even for Bill O'Brien and his legacy, because Bill O'Brien's, the thing he's most known for is that situation. He argued with Tom Brady. Oh, he yelled at Tom Brady. Like, go beat Brady. Just go beat Brady one time when it really counts. Go beat Brady one time, but go beat Brady one time when it really counts. You know, and it means something. So, you know, it is what it is. You got to beat Brady first in New England. But my thing is this, man, and I agree with you, man. Anything is possible. But it's just, it's, and I think that I want to feel like there will be more growth. Because like I say, I want to be the guy that feels like we were trending upward, like something clicked in Jacksonville. You know what I'm saying? I want to say, okay, hey, you know, the Dolphins, it's the Dolphins. They were injured, and you know, you could find your reasoning there. But I want to feel like, okay, well, they were finding ways to put points on the board. They were figuring out, okay, hey, this is what it feels like to score a few touchdowns. It's been a while. And then I just want to feel like, you know, that injury, I want to say that the willful injury is more devastating than people really realize because of how integral he was in that offense. But, you know, and I'm feeling like that. I want that to be the one-off, but I think the Redskins game will determine the real trajectory in which, you know, were they all kind of fluky? Were they just favorable situations? And again, the Redskins situation is favorable. You mentioned the Jets earlier. Darnold's dinged up right now, so I don't know how his whole thing's going to play out. The Eagles are not the team that they were last year, and so I think people have to account for that. I mean, the schedule is extremely favorable. And again, you know, if we can play out well, you know, one of those top-tier teams could have a hiccup here and there. You never know what happens. And the situation could fall in line that the Texans could thrive and capitalize in. So we'll see what it is. Man, Berkeley, I was wondering the same thing because, boy, them Jags fans used to troll super tough last year. They used to come to this motherfucker talking all kind of shit. This our division now, Saxonville, and all that tomfoolery. But now –
oh, them bitches skated off. I said this shit to their faces when they was in the chat, talking all that junk. I don't even seen Clarence in a hot minute. Fucking every single fucking Jag fan just could not fucking understand that they did it for 1 year, but you got to follow it up to be real. And we the only real motherfuckers in the AFC South. We the only ones followed up championships back to back and did what the fucking Colts did for a long time. So, I mean, these Jags fans, they won the division only once ever. Don't believe me. Go check it on Google. Fucking, it's fucking ridiculous. They are a fucking stupid bandwagon team. Just stupid.
I didn't realize why that shit kept doing. I didn't even cut the lights on. Got a text in, and then we'll open up the sauce line for a call or two. Says, what do you think about the Rocket City jerseys going Chinese? I hate that shit, man. I hate the fucking Chinese city jerseys. Like, what the fuck? Like, but I understand, hey, you got to get that good China money. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Rockets are the most popular team in China ever since Yao Ming. Shit. Because even Chuck Wagon used to have some fucking Taze, used to have some fucking shoes in China. And nobody even knew who he was in America. That shows you how much motherfuckers love in China, how much love they got for the Rockets in China. So that's very interesting. Because the Rockets always try to keep an Asian, but it's been a while. But no, I forgot about Zochi. He just been dinged up. But from Jeremy Lin to your Zochi to your Yao Ming to they're gonna always keep some type of Asian on the team just because they know that the Rockets will get that love for that player, especially Zochi was super popular in China. And then, we already know about the legacy of Yao Ming and what he was.
I'm going to tell you like this, man. Now, from the outside in, yeah, that's ugly-ass jerseys. But Fertitta got to pay them luxury tax bills. So, I mean, damn straight you're going to sell it to the largest fucking nation of fucking fans. Mm-hmm. I mean, one city in China can equal fucking Houston in tenfold.
Exactly. So I ain't mad at him from the business aspect of it. I'm not mad at him as the fan aspect. That shit is trash, dog. That shit is horrible. That shit is fucking awful. I hate them. I hate them every time they fucking wear them. I'm like, you can't give us something to represent the city. A city not in China. You know what I mean? Good one, too. And I was going to ask you about that. I'm glad you asked this question here. And I was going to ask you your thoughts on that one, too, Tenny. Says, Honcho, what do you think about the slot receiver we picked up off the Eagles and also letting Tyler Ervin go? What are your thoughts on that one, Tenny? DeAndre Carter and, announcers commentary going to have fun with that shit. All the DeAndres and Diaz and D-this, and they're going to be fumbling and stumbling. What's his name? Couldn't even get the team right last game. Fucking kept calling it Jamerson. And Jamerson's on our team.
God,
yes. Scored on Jamerson. Like, what? Did we trade Jamerson with Demaryius Thomas? Was that part of it? Like, did I miss something? But what are your thoughts on that? Letting Ervin go and acquiring DeAndre Carter. How do you feel about that?
I feel good about it because we need somebody at return. Let's be honest. Tyler Ervin did not have the eyes. Well, I mean, we were all calling him out during the preseason and even in training camp. We didn't think that he was a need to be on this team right now. And especially, too, it gives us another wide receiver. It gives us another option. So that way, if the hammy still is an issue for Kiki, if anything else pops up, we can actually sub a guy in there who's already going to be inclimated with the fucking game. He's going to have a playbook in his hand. And best of all, I mean, he came from a team that's got some pretty good special teams. So obviously, he could be utilized here. So let's see what he can do. I mean, I am not against it because, honestly, we didn't lose anything in Tyler Ervin. There was nothing lost, and we might have gained something. So until game day, it would be nice to know that we gained something above Tyler Ervin.
Exactly. It'd be very interesting because, like I say, from the little clips I've seen him, and I'm not going to sit here and say, that I went and deep dive and I studied everything about him. Like, from the little bit I saw about him, he seems to have a nice, quick first step. He seems like he can get out of there pretty quick. And, again, this special teams unit is not bad. This special teams as a whole has improved. And I think that was kind of the issue because there's been a couple of times you look and you're like, okay, Irvin's going to bust this one open. And it just seems like he doesn't have that same burst that he had earlier on. I want to say those injuries have kind of slowed him down a bit. I don't know what it is. But, all well wish to Ervin. Hopefully he finds a home somewhere in the league and that he can, find some successes. Now, you always want a man to be able to feed his family. But ultimately, I think that there needed to be an upgrade. I didn't have a problem with Ervin, but I wasn't excited about Ervin being a returner. My thing was just that he was relatively consistent. He wasn't coughing up the ball, but he wasn't necessarily getting you in great field position either. He was making sure, he got you back to the 25 or he got you back to, get you a couple of little yards here, but it wasn't anything that you were like, oh man, Ervin did a great job. And then I want to say them last couple of, he might have had didn't he have a hiccup or two in them last couple? I'm trying to think. It was something he did.
Yeah, he kept fucking around and he wasn't calling guys off. Mm-hmm. And the ball kept fucking getting dangerously close to bouncing right on top of somebody. Yeah. Like, he was not calling them off the way he needed to.
Yeah, and I think that comes with it, the return. As a returner, you kind of want to take them because you're waiting. Okay, am I going to call this a fair catch? Am I going to try to get these yards? And it's a gamble, and it's a quick decision that has to be made. And you have a lot of stuff to scan. You have a lot of shit to figure out and get going. So I think people just see it as, all right, I'm just going to catch this bitch and run with it, or I'm just call it a fair catch. And like you said, you got a lot of responsibilities. You got to call guys off, hey, get away from the ball, poison, or whatever the fuck you call it, to keep motherfuckers away. And then you got to decide, am I going to catch this? Am I going to try to make a run so guys get in position? I mean, there's a lot of things that you're responsible for, not just catching and running that fucking ball. And so I think that people got to pay attention to that, man. That's ultimately important. So here's the thing. Like I say, we'll open up the line. We're gonna do it the getaway. We'll take a call or two, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. And let's see. Let me make sure everything is copacetic. But like I said, I think it was a good pickup. I have no problems with that pickup, and I think I can't say we won until we actually see what he does. But it's interesting the fact that the Texans are showing that they're still trying to do some things. Like, they're not just sitting stagnant. You see a talent that's available. you're going for him. You're trying to make a play for him. You see,
I think outside of everything, the only thing that I'm still questioning is why is Andre Chasseray fucking still on the practice squad?
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
That's an interesting one, man. That's a very interesting one. But obviously, it has to be maybe some consensus around the league because nobody else has really inquired about it. But I thought that he was nice. I thought that maybe he has to refine some things. I don't know. Maybe they see something in practice where he may have some issues with certain things, but.
And something, he seems like a good Texan dude, like the guys they like, because I look at his Twitter. I mean, he's got his son up there, he's got his girl up there. I mean, he seems like a family dude. And like honestly, like from what I saw in the preseason, and I saw him at the flash point of the plays, and I saw him up on guys, I really think that he is a diamond in the rough, and he will be something special if somebody just gives him a shot.
Yeah. My thing is, oh man, too, it's Friday, man. It's fucking Friday, man. You got anything you want to say? You want to say, fuck them too, man? How you just having a good Friday?
Man, fuck them to all them motherfuckers be calling in. Fuck them to all them motherfuckers that get in your way and shit in the fucking highway. Fuck that shit, motherfucker. Don't ride my ass when the motherfucker in front of me just decided to jump lanes and get slow on me. Fuck you, fuck all that shit.
Oh my God, I hate that shit, man. I don't even want to get into that shit. I have road rage, and I have no problem admitting that shit. I have very bad road rage. Like I'm surprised I haven't gotten in more altercations because of that shit. Because I get angry. I hate that shit. Like motherfuckers just get in your way and go slow and just it's like why are you? I'm in the fast lane. Why are you getting over here?
They get in your way. They get slow, and then this sorry ass fucking shrimp dick ass motherfucker in a jacked up truck want to come up on you. Like motherfucker, I'm trying to get over to the other lane so I can get ahead of this motherfucker. All you doing is making my job even harder. You fucking bitch. So I'll be fucking I get vengeful. I start boxing motherfuckers in. I'm like, all right, you want to ride my ass? We gonna steer in this traffic together.
Yeah, and then you know what I hate about motherfuckers, especially with road rage, when a motherfucker will cut you off, and they know that they did some old bullshit, and when you pull up on them and you try to get some eye contact out there, motherfucker, that all of a sudden now they head down in the fucking phone, or they looking all over today, they won't make fun. That shit, fuck, that's like the icing on the cake. Like you bitch, because you did some hoe shit, and you on that fuck shit. When I finally do get around your motherfucker, that now you gonna act like you don't see a motherfucker, like looking all over you. I'm like, I'm finna ride on side your ass for a while until I get confirmation of that situation like that.
I need you to know you fucked up.
Yeah, and then I can go on about my day, even though I'm wasting my own time to make sure I'm. But that's how it is, man. Let's see what we got though. I see 72 in cap cut. Johnson gets extra $9 million, enough cap to move around while Forrest in his rookie contract. Yeah, I definitely see that. Fuck my boss for rearranging my office on my off day like a chicken shit. What the fuck? Oh yeah, I'd be mad about that shit, man. I'd be mad about that shit. What the fuck? How you gonna rearrange my shit? We gonna have a squad, man. Look, I came in here expecting a certain feng shui. When I stepped in this motherfucking office, you done fucked my juice all up, man. That's some Mark shit, man. That is some definitely fuck his mama too. God damn. We can talk all the shit we want to, but at the end of the day, all those guys in the locker room know how good they are. And man, there's a couple of things. I want to say shout out to Jay Dizzle, man, because we were talking about this the other day, and he talked about, that he said Super Bowl or bust. That's the guy's mentality in the locker room. I want to say it was Kareem, or it might have been Kareem or Honey Badger who had an interview not too long after that. And that's basically what they said. They said, hey, we started off and we knew that we weren't playing up to our full potential. And yeah, I mean, and the motto is Super Bowl or bust, but it's one game at a time. And so, my theory is like I'm always looking ahead to next week, but I want to also say shout out to Jay because he pointed, hey, these guys in the locker room feel like it's Super Bowl or bust, and that's true. And so, and that's why I say there's always dynamics to the situation. You know what I mean? I don't smoke because I've been on hiatus for almost. This is 5 months now. It's in December, it'll be about 6 months. So I'm just gonna finish the year out, just because, like I said, I got some things that I'm working on. Some good things have been happening behind the scenes, and so I believe that when you sacrifice things that you love, things that you enjoy, more opportunities come to you. But the blunts may be coming back. But if I do, they'll probably be more in the den. I'll probably keep the reefer off the Salt Sports. But I'll probably do a smoke every now and then in the den. No longer.
That's the way you got to do it, man. Like me, I always I dip back into the pool for a second and I get back out the pool. Because, you know what, man, like you said, son, when things are going good, it's best not to rock the boat.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, you know, and then sometimes you don't want to be too lit. You miss some shit. Sometimes, you know, it's good to feel good, but, you know, I want to make sure I'm on all my notes. You know what I'm saying? Right now, it's like we're trying to build this soft sports brand into something bigger. You know, like I said, I want to make sure I'm clear-headed for all opportunities that are available. You know what I'm saying? It's not need to smoke in traffic to keep that road rage. Yeah, that's probably when I do need to be smoking. That's probably why I'm all angry and shit. Usually when I do smoke, I wouldn't give a fuck, man. Fuck you, man.
See, that's the reason why I'm as heavy as I am now. I used to smoke all the time when I was younger. And you know something, man? Every time I smoked, all I wanted to do was work out. I wanted to be busy. Yeah. And I got away from it.
Yeah. That's wild. All right, so y'all ain't gonna use a lot tonight. We'll forget y'all. We got one text. We'll take this last text and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. But let me see. You say I drive for a living, and my number one pet peeve is traffic is when a lane is ending and then motherfuckers won't get out of that lane until they damn near hit. Oh my. Ooh, you're a man. You say the size over a mile, over a mile back. Okay, hold on. We got this call. We'll take this call and we go finish up with that text. It sounds like it's going to be a good one. All right, what's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the sauce line this evening?
Hey, man, this is Trey, man. I just want to talk back on that Rockets jersey situation, man. Like, they could have did something else. It's okay if you keep the Asian theme. You can still do, like, not Bayou City, but something like Space City or something like NASA or something close to what you should represent. But it looks like a damn anime jersey. It has little piles on it, man.
What's that shit they used to have on Dragon Ball Z? The little Nimbus or whatever that shit was?
Yeah. Bro, I'm looking at this shit. I'm like, bro, there's no way in hell they improved this. I'm looking at the Orleans jersey. It looks like New Orleans. They got the same colors. I'm looking at San Antonio's. They went retro with theirs. Yeah. I was like, all right, so this is kind of lit. I look at ours. I'm like, again?
Yeah.
I don't have no problem with Asian folks, but come on, dog.
Look, hey, I agree with you, man. Yeah,
all right, man.
I appreciate the call, man.
That's some fucked up ass shit because China ain't even
wild,
anime. China ain't
you,
anime
man.
at all.
I have no problem with that. I don't want y'all to think of being racist against the Asians and all that. Hell no, we'll take this call real quick. But the thing is, them hoes look like it does look like some old Naruto, Dragon Ball Z ass shit that they got going on there. What's the motherfucking deal? Who do we have calling into the sauce line this evening?
What's good? It's
What's
man.
good? Wink, what's the motherfucking deal, man? What you want to drop on the sauce line tonight?
Man, shit, man. It's just a slow ass week for football, man. Just wanted to chop it up for a few minutes. You know, I was just getting a couple of questions and shit like that in the chat. Now, it's really just to answer some questions that was in the chat. Vampire Lord had asked me, you know, about, I guess, the bye week or something like that, about Washington historically. The Redskins have never played well against the Texans. They're probably the only team in the NFC East that does not play well against the Texans when we face them. I think they got like one win or two like that against us throughout the entire history. So that's number one. As far as I was kind of Ace Train, you know, was asking me about the, you know, how does he feel about like how people are pretty much talking down on, you know, like the Texas record. Some of it is justified because it's been self-inflicted, you know, due to execution. You know, a plethora of things, you know, have been into it. So to be honest, you shouldn't want everybody too high on the team as it stands right now. Don't embrace being the underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like, embrace that, because when it all boils down to it, you know, dudes either gonna show love or they not. You know what I'm saying? So you can't really be too, you know, even though I've been critical of this team, you can't really be worried about what the outside. I care more about what people who actually are, you know, got something to do with Houston. If you ain't from Houston, if you ain't reporting on Houston, if you don't constantly talk about Houston, why in the hell am I going to sit here and worry about people who don't know what the TikTok is? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, stop worrying about what everybody, you know what I'm saying? Just use that shit as fuel and fire when it's time to play these games. you hope we pull them out and we earning them and not leaving this shit into other teams' hands and get lucky ass wins. Because we got 4 lucky wins and we got 2. It is what it is. The luck, like you said, the luck of the draw has went our way in quite a few games, and it does feel good because any other time we would say, damn, we need some lucky shit. So, you know, even though the night I was on the show, I can look at that and be like, all right, cool. And I understood that night, but I don't like feeling like that in the situations because our history has shown otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So that leaving, you wishing and hoping and praying that the other teams don't perform and leaving shit in other people's hands is not the way to go. And this team needs to go ahead and make sure that all of their problems are rectified when this bye week is over. But shout out to you and Tenny, man, for holding it down tonight. I'm going to be back on tomorrow. And probably Sunday if we do something. And then I'm going to do a live stream and stuff like that for people in the chat who are asking. So shout out to South Nation. Shout out to you. And Tenny for holding it down tonight. Y'all boys be easy. And I'm going to get on back to the stream.
All right, that's a bet, man. Appreciate you calling in, Wink.
Already.
Man. All right, we're gonna make that the last call. That's a good note. And we're gonna take this. We're gonna finish up this Jay Dizzle message here real quick. Hold on 1 second. But man, very valid points, man. You know, man, fuck what anybody outside the city talking about. Because if a motherfucker ain't really concerned about your well-being anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like, why the fuck we give a fuck about their opinion? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we give a fuck about their opinion in the first place? You know what I'm saying? If they don't care about it, they don't want us to win anyway. So if what do we give a fuck what they think about us? Them motherfuckers been hating on Watson and all kind of other shit for the longest. But let me finish this. I'll start from the beginning. We're gonna finish this one last one from Jay Dizzle. It says, I drive for a living and my number one pet peeve in traffic is when a lane is ending and the motherfuckers won't get out that damn lane until they damn near hit the cones. The sign's over a mile back. Now you slowing down the only lane that is open. Then I whipped this motherfucking 18-wheeler right out and blocked their ass from doing that dumb shit. Hell yeah. They only do it because they can get away with it. They wouldn't cut in line if they on their feet because they definitely would get handled. Fuck them. I agree with you, man. And that's man, look. We going to have to do an episode in the DM where they holler at me, man. We going to have to do, I want to get the perspective of that just gives me an idea. I want to get the perspective of a truck driver because you get to be all over America. You seeing all kind of stuff. We're going to do a DM about that one day. I think that'll be a good one, man. We're going to have to reach out to Jay Dizzle when you got some time, man. I think that'll be a good topic because I think that, you got to look at truck drivers like the kind of low-key the eyes of America because they be all over the place. I mean, 1 minute you in California, the next minute you in Iowa. I think you was in Montana the other day, and you just all over the place. And you getting to see the country, especially as we going through these seasonal changes and all that other shit. You get to see a lot of stuff, and I think that shit is pretty interesting. But man, I agree with you. It's crazy the shit that people will do in their vehicles that they would not do in regular life, and that's why I say a lot of people do shit because it be little motherfuckers who drive big-ass vehicles. You know what I'm saying? And be thinking they doing something. Man, hop about this bitch real quick. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and do as nature intended. You know what I'm saying? Now with your accessories and your transformers and all that other shit.
I'm telling you, man. Like, don't get it twisted, bro. Like I drive a little Fiesta. Yeah. I'm 5'11". I'm squeezing in this bitch. Like, motherfucker, don't open your door because I'm gonna get out and stand above you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I used to tell them shit. I remember in fucking in high school, I used to drive the E-Class. Y'all don't know what the E-Class is. Y'all ain't in the den, man. Y'all don't know about. Y'all got to be in the den to know about the E-Class. The E-Class was the Ford Escort. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, I'm a sizable gentleman myself. Motherfuckers used to be trying to drive crazy, especially when I was in high school. I was bucking the system, so I was quick to ready to be fighting the motherfuckers for shit. I'd be talking all kind of shit. I hop out at a red light, whatever it may be, beating on motherfucking window and shit. I'm surprised I ain't been shot by now some old road rage. Now that I go back and think about it, but it is what it is. Man, but I'm telling you shit. I remember coming from it wasn't a cap. It was I want to say it was a spring-based situation. I've been in fights in traffic in Galveston. When the fucking traffic get jammed up coming back across, and I'm telling you, man, it all kind of. Oh no,
shit. You been on the causeway throwing down?
Yes, sir. I mean, it's been. I'm telling you, it's just. It is what it is. That's what I say. When I was young, I was much more foolish than I should have been. But hey, we're here to talk about it. So one of the fortunate ones. Not everybody gets that opportunity. But yeah, man. Like I say, y'all don't know about that. That's the E-Class. But the motherfuckers they'll try to handle you because they had a big ass vehicle or something. And say, man, get your ass up out there. So let's see what it really is. Don't let the size of the vehicle fool you. You know what I'm saying? You just better respect what it is. But again, we ain't gonna trip on that shit. But yeah, definitely. So. Here's the deal, man. Mr. Chin, you got anything you want to say before we get up out of here, man?
Man, shout out to the chat, guys. I know it's a slow week. Let's just hope the Texans are focusing on getting healthier and getting back out there so we can see a full turnaround and a spectacular finish to the season. Because I don't mind eating crow on all the bullshit I've talked all this year. But, I mean, if they can overcome that 0-3 shit and end at 10-6 or better, I will be elated right there with y'all guys with my suit and with my tie, and I will be eating my crow. I'll have a little plate set up with the rice too. So thanks for coming through, guys. I know it's a lazy week, but we about to gear up and be right back into this shit next week.
Yeah. And man, I got something. We may do something special Sunday. We'll see how much of the round table is available, and then because it's something I kind of mentioned in the chat, so we'll see what's up. I'll reach out to y'all here either later or tomorrow. Make sure everything is good. I think it'll be something cool because with the Texans not being in the mix, I think it's something Sauce Nation would enjoy. Something a little different, and it could become a regular thing. We'll see how that plans out. So y'all stay tuned. Like I said, I don't know for sure about tomorrow, but probably Sunday we're gonna do something. We're gonna do something real interesting. We'll see what happens, but like I said, we'll be in the den tonight. Not sure what we're talking about. We'll be in the den at 10. And Mixer Crew, we'll be getting into some shit in the Mixer Crew. I got a couple of new ventures that we can dive into, a couple new games. I bought some Disney games. We're gonna play some Disney games on the Mixer Crew. Y'all know how much y'all love Toy Story, and I'm fucking with y'all. But with that being said, man, I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man. Everybody who takes the time to come and fuck with the sauce, man. Like y'all are the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Make sure y'all slide by staysaucy.com, check out some of the merch. Gonna have some new shit coming for y'all real soon, man. Y'all stay tuned. I'm telling you, it's about to get real live. We're trying to make this thing. We're trying to take this thing to the next level. So I mean, hey, stay tuned. Subscribe to the Patreon. Like I said, it's been a slow week, and I've been taking care of some other things. Like I said, getting shit more legitimized. But I promise you, next week, once things get back in order, we finna be full blast. We're gonna get back on this Rockets talk too, and everything. Like I say, that's coming with it, man. Like I say, we finna represent the city the right way. But with that being said, also, make sure you hit the links in the description below. If you're on Facebook, join the Facebook group because starting next week, I was trying to do it this week, but like I said, it's just been super busy. Podcast will be back regular, and I'm going to start doing some lives in the Facebook page or group. So make sure you like the page, make sure you like the group. I'm going to try to just, utilize various platforms because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. We want to spread the sauce around. So, again, holla at your boy. But with that being said, I appreciate you, Mr. Tenney. Thank you for joining me this evening. Shout out to Wink. Shout out to Trey. Shout out to Jay Dizzle, man. Shout out to everybody who's been holding it down, everybody who reached in on the sauce line. We chunking up a deuce. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Y'all stay saucy. Hey, man, we out.